up, CUT Collective? This is our powerful Rewind podcast coming at you with season 2 of this informative experience that we're going to have together. Now, what we do every week is we basically bring you some spiritual empowerment and growth, an opportunity to grow spiritually. And this week, we're rewinding on the Sunday sermon from February 2nd, 2025. And I am telling you, it is going to be, when you open your mind up to what we're talking about today, you're going to see that this year is really, you're primed for your growth this year. We're priming you for exponential growth this year. So sitting in the hot seat today is the Reverend Dr. Derrick B. Wells. And before I bring him on, I just want to let you know that we thrive on your energy. And so I want to encourage you, if you happen to be listening to us live, to go ahead and forward this to some friends. Tell them to come on in. This amazing experience is going to happen. It's going to open up their mind. Reverend Derrick is going to come in and share and unpack. Really, like, the lesson sermon was dope on its own, but we're going to go inside and really look at how we can practically apply it to our lives. And so I want to encourage you to go ahead and first, go ahead and share so that they can come in live and you all have something to talk about other than what's going on in the government. All right. So I want to encourage you to do that right now. Go ahead and share. Now, for those of you who are catching the replay of this, I want to let you know that you need to subscribe to this podcast. Our intent for season 2 is to push it out far and wide, to continue to grow and expand. And I want to hear, if this is supporting you, if this is helping you, I want you to let us know. And so you can join the CUT Collective Facebook group. And so just go to Facebook and you type in CUT Collective Worldwide, and you will be able to find us and join in that community, because in addition to what we're doing here on the Rewind, there's also other opportunities for us to grow spiritually together. So we want to stay connected with this teaching, want to keep pouring good into our mind, because there's so much going on that can distract us from our highest good. And this is one of the ways you stay plugged in and locked in. So with that, I'm going to bring Rev on into the scene. Hey.
Hey, what's going on, Rev Ree? What's going on, family?
How are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely amazing, and I believe my evening is about to get better, because anytime you have an opportunity to be in the vibration and wave of amazing people, that always lifts me up anyway. So they say the high tide lifts all boats. Yeah. And so this vibration, this consciousness, this wave of yes to growth is something I'm really looking forward to being a part of once again.
Yes, because you had some time off there. Like we did a rewind on the election and the consciousness going on around there, but it's been a couple weeks since you've been in the hot seat.
Yeah, well, even if the seat is hot, I'm always generally cooler than a fan, so that's one. But two, every now and again, you know what I'm saying, every now and again your train comes off the tracks, and you have to get the train back up on the track. So
that's right.
The last Sunday I did the lesson sermon before the rewind. I had an opportunity to just work with myself and reconnect to that presence of wholeness within me. So the time down was really just necessary and needed. In the scripture, sometimes they call it the Sabbath, right? And every now and again, you have to remind yourself that it's important to take a rest, not only for the spirit and soul, but also for the body. And what I think happens to us occasionally is when we neglect to take that, we attract to ourselves opportunities and experiences to be reminded that your health is a critical part of the work that you do. It's a critical piece of what God is going to use to express through you. And so, you can just never be too busy to stop for gas, I like to say. Because if you're too busy to stop for gas, eventually the car runs out of gas and you don't get to determine when that's going to happen. So if it happens when you're just on the side of the road or on the expressway, like you're at the mercy of the environment. But if you are conscious and intentional about taking time to stop to refill, then you can determine exactly when you do that and how much further you'll be able to go on the other side of filling up. So I got the lesson and the blessing, and
That's right.
I'm all the better for it.
Listen, no, we appreciate it. Because here's the thing, I am a fan of telling myself the truth. And
Yeah, for sure.
I am whole, perfect, and complete. And when I'm out of alignment with that truth, it's like I got 50 reminders. You know how you see the what is it, the gas light that comes on, time to get gas, and you want to see how far can you push it? It's like I get awarded like that. It's like, stop it, stop. There's a better way. There's a better way.
For sure,
We're here about that better life. We're here about that better life. Yes.
Amen.
But we were missed, and we've been holding it down here in that time where you were taking care of yourself. Today we're going to talk about Unlimited, the new Unlimited series, which is running through February. And so as just kind of big picture, you stated that this year is about standing in your greatness.
Yes.
How does this Unlimited series kind of fold into a stand for your greatness, standing in your greatness?
So what we're doing this year is just taking a collective journey through the various environments of our lives, and we're taking account of where we ourselves determine that we are in those respective areas. And after some reflection, we are for our own self and for our own sole purpose, for our own opportunity to locate ourselves, we're assigning ourselves a number for where we are in that particular area. So we started off at the top of the year with our spiritual environment, our spiritual growth. And so each and every one of us gave ourselves on a scale of 1 to 10, we gave ourselves a score of where we are in terms of our spiritual growth. And the lessons for the Live Your Truth series were intentionally and specifically designed to support us in the area of spiritual growth so that we can stand in our greatness spiritually. The Unlimited series is designed completely around personal growth, personal expansion. And so all of the lessons will be designed toward the various elements, or some of the various elements that give us the greatest ability to catalyze our personal growth. And so that's what Unlimited is about. It's about remembering that the way God designed us, not only spiritually, but personally, there is a vast capacity within each and every one of us. And for many people, they spend most of their time fighting for their limitations. And you all know, like I do, when you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. So the Unlimited series is about pushing past the self limits so that we might be able, from the standpoint of our personal growth and our personal consciousness, be able to take another step and advance from wherever we scored ourselves in the personal growth area. So if you rated yourself at a 4 on the other side of this series with the application of what we're learning, it is my expectation that you'll be able to level up from wherever you were. If you were 4, you'll be able to level up from there. If you were 5, you'll be able to level up from there. If you were 8, you'll be able to level up from there. If you were 10, you'll be able to level up from there. But it's not just the intake of information, it's also the application of that which we're learning.
So there is, hopefully on your screen, you'll be able to see the Abundant Life Blueprint that Rev is referencing. And that it's not too late to get it. You can go to cutemple.org and download the Abundant Life Blueprint. And what he's done is he's talking about that 1 through 10 is that each of those areas of your life, you're taking and and identifying how fulfilled you are in those areas. And then he's rocking you through each and every one of these areas. And the idea is that you get better, right? And so we can prove it here in this Abundant Life Blueprint. It's a powerful, powerful tool for consciousness transformation, and practical. It's a practical tool. Thank you for such a practical tool to help us grow in 2025.
My pleasure. And I'm not sure the blueprint ever popped up on the screen.
It's not. It didn't pop up on the screen. No. I'm dope. I am really great at what I do.
Of course you are. No question. I am. No question.
Yeah. Y'all will see it. But go to cutemple.org. Right at the top of the screen, you'll see Abundant Life Blueprint. Download that and get started. Or you have to download it, but then you don't have to print it. You can actually work with it online. You all know that we can be digital people. All right.
Yeah. So, and if you're in the greater metropolitan Chicagoland area and you want to stop at the temple and get it, you can stop there and get it in the JCI office or in the bookstore.
Yeah, and
it's available for you. Wherever you are around the globe, you can get it. You can get this tool. That's the main thing.
That's it. Exactly. So, I'm telling you to get this tool because we're gonna work with it, and we want to make sure that you're tapping into it. Tapping into it all year. So you'll see this again, and next time you'll actually see it because it'll really pop up. But so this I think has been my favorite sermon in a while. Not that they're not all dope, but I think this one topped whatever the last one I thought was like, oh, that was like that one was hands down. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's because I am a personal growth geek, or what, but the idea of, when we think about who we believe God is, right? You can believe God is your all. You can believe that God is so good and God is love. But what you think about yourself has to grow up to that, right? And so I was just really in that space of openness. And so I want you to know we're talking about the sermon from February 2nd, 2025. You can find those on YouTube or at the Facebook group for CU Temple is the Facebook handle, and on YouTube. But it's such a powerful lesson in personal growth, and that's what our focus is today. I'm going to play this clip. Oh, you know what? Let me declare divine order right now. Let me get the divine order established.
There we go. Same vibration. I was right there with you. There you jump. I was great. Jump right in there. Before we do that.
Before we do that, let's take a break and center ourselves. Rev, would you mind praying with us today?
Absolutely, I would love to. And I want to invite you to just take a moment to take a couple of good, deep centering breaths as we breathe in deeply and exhale slowly. Again, breathing in deeply, and this time I want you to, on the exhale, see yourself releasing all toxins, all blocks, all negative buildup. One more time, breathing in deeply. Hold it for a couple seconds. And exhale slowly. As we've entered into this collective vibration, we give thanks for this new opportunity to be lifted by our minds. We are open and receptive to being transformed by the renewing of our minds so that we might be able to more consistently prove what is the good, acceptable, and perfect will of God, according to the Apostle Paul. We bless all who plug into this vibration, and we remember that God has already provided us with everything we need. And now we must ourselves do the work of expressing and unleashing that which has been invested within each and every one of us. And as we do our best with it, what we'll find is that it multiplies. Just like the folks with the talents. Some were given 1, some were given 2, some were given 5, according to their ability to make the most of it. And I believe that whatever we've attracted to ourselves by right of consciousness, we have the ability to multiply. Whatever the talent, skills, gifts, abilities, and resources that have been invested within you, those are the things God intends you to make the most of and multiply. There is something that you are the greatest person on the planet at. It's a part of your personal endowment. And through your personal growth, you get to see more of it and then unleash more of it in the world. Thank you for this opportunity to walk together again with people of like mind so that we might see the Christ expressing in, through, and as all we think, say, and do. We say yes to our personal growth. We say yes to our personal expansion. We say yes to continuing to stretch ourselves to realize that which we were created to be. Unlimited beings, full of capacity, able to do the unimaginable, able to accomplish the unthinkable, but only if we're able to imagine it, only if we're able to think it, only if we're able to believe it. It's done unto us as we believe. We believe that we can grow ourselves into all that we were created to be. We're committed to doing the work. Amen and amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Thank you for that.
My
God
pleasure.
just gave
Thank
me an
you.
idea. God just gave me an idea in that prayer. I'm gonna make sure I capture it. That's the power of prayer.
Work it. Yeah.
That's the
Is
power
it
of prayer.
saying 5 heartbeats? Work it, JT. Work it.
Not the 5 heartbeats reference. That's one of my
Oh
favorites.
yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
one of my favorites. Thank you. So I'm gonna play this first clip and set us up. And again, just in case you just tuned in, we're talking about your personal growth as we uncover your unlimited potential. So I'll play this when it's about a minute, and then we're gonna dive in. If you have a question, just from the lesson sermon related to the topic we're talking about, please put it in the comments wherever you're watching, and we will fold it into the conversation.
I can't express any greater than the level up to which I grow myself so that the unlimited personal potential can express through me, right? And so it's important. No. It's not just important. It's not just important. It's critical. It's critical that I be perpetually in the process of personal growth if I intend to make the most of the unlimited potential God has placed within me. I am the lid that determines how little or how much God can do through me. God is not going to waste the good on somebody who doesn't have the capacity to receive it. God is not going to have God's will revealed by somebody who's too afraid to step out and do what God has called them to do.
Okay, so you meant that. Powerful, some powerful words. This, I am the lid. I am the lid that determines how little or how much God can do through me. So when we're looking at our lives and what we've been able to experience, you're saying that my experience, like, that's my lid. Like, whatever I think is possible for me is the lid to the all potential of how much the all potential can flow through me.
Yes, the results that are showing up for me right now are an indication of the level of my lid, right? Not necessarily, it's not an indication of what's possible for me. It's not an indication of my potential. See, a tree will grow as tall and as big as it can. The only being in creation that will not grow as tall as it can is us, people, right? And so to the extent that I continue to push past my lid or my perceived limitation, that's the extent to which I grow into the vast potential that has been invested within me.
So when we're looking at, because I love how this ties together, that we're talking about who you are spiritually and why you may not be experiencing the fullness of your spiritual potential. And so the lid on that is your beliefs, right? What you believe is possible for you. Am I restating that properly?
It's so let's say the lid is not just a matter of what I'm believing, it's a matter of the law of demonstration as it expresses through my consciousness. So it's what I think, it's the level at which I think, it's the level at which I believe, it's the level at which I take action, it's the level at which I speak, and it's the level at which my my reactions or my subconscious demonstrations present themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So my demonstration or my results will always be consistent with the level of how I am expressing in those 5 particular areas, those 5 key areas.
And I think that, so sometimes, I know when I first started to hear this teaching, and it would be good in the sense when I'm thinking about like, oh, there's so much I can do. And it's like, but wait a minute, why am I like, do I not believe more for myself? Why am I not experiencing more? And you talk about our thinking, our believing, our words and our actions and our reactions. So you can change that, right? Like that's the part which is good.
Mm-hmm.
If I change what I am thinking about, that's going to have an impact on that lid. If I change what I believe,
can we use another word, Rev? If I grow, mm-hmm. Right? If I grow in my level of thinking, then I can't help but begin to see some different results based upon this expansion of growth in my thinking. If I grow in what I believe is possible for me, what I believe I'm capable of, what I believe I deserve, then I can't help but experience some growth based upon this new system of belief. If I grow in what I say, like some of us literally keep ourselves at the level of our lid based solely upon our conversations, mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And not just the ones we have with one another, but the ones we have with ourselves.
Yes.
Those my conversations can't do anything but reflect the consciousness that's back of them, right? If I grow in the degree to which I take action on the thing I say I want, right? Want shows up in conversation, expectation shows up in action. So mm-hmm. If I am truly committed to experiencing some growth, there is no such thing as growth without action, right? I have to at some point put those new thoughts, those new beliefs, and those new words into action if I expect anything. Now, to go back to the other word we use, if I expect anything to change, mm-hmm. Right? And sometimes I need to act myself into that shift even before I think it or believe it or speak it, because action will also create a shift in my energy body. And when it comes to growing in my reactions, that's a direct result of what's being, what sort of growth seeds are being planted in my subconscious mind. So my reactions are always consistent with my subconscious conditioning, not with what I say I think, not with what I say I believe, not with what I heard in class, but with the growth seeds of my subconscious conditioning. My reactions will always be consistent with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we have again just grabbing back control of ourselves, right? We may have given ourselves over to circumstance, to other people's opinions about us, but in the
Mhm,
process of taking
mhm,
yourself back, right?
mhm.
This is what we can recognize. So I think that affirmation that I am the lid helps us to understand, like, that's a power move right there, that if I am the lid, that determines
That's right.
how
That's right.
much, how little, or how much God can do through me.
Hmm.
I am the lid.
1,000%.
I
1,000%.
control that.
Not
It's my lid.
yeah. Not my level of education. Not my job. Not
Hmm.
my family. Not my environment. Right. Because we all know people who came from those similar things who perhaps performed better. And we all
Hmm.
know people who came from those similar things who perhaps performed worse. They might have
Yeah.
even come from our same household, right?
Yeah.
And we see some who
You say two
perform and
siblings.
right. And I'm like I'm when I'm saying better, like I'm using relative, but I'm speaking in terms of a better life as you define it or as I define it for myself. But
Right.
right, two siblings, same household, same environment, same condition, same challenges, and different ways of thinking, different ways of believing, different ways of speaking, different ways of acting, different results in their life, world, and affairs.
Yeah. Totally.
I saw
Totally.
it in my
Totally.
household.
Hmm.
I've seen it with my siblings, right? So I like I'm this is not hypothetical.
Hmm.
This is
Hmm.
this is proven demonstration.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. This next clip talks about that, about the environment that you're in, being mindful of that. But I think it is important to note when you're looking at, especially the sibling thing, because that's come up quite a few times this week, actually, with
Uh,
different people. What is, like, did we have the same mother? Did we have the same, like, did we grow up together? But two different reactions to the life experiences that they're going through. I see Rev is taking a minute. Rev, you still there? All right, I'm gonna let him come on back in. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about this. So this next clip is where he really begins to go into the idea about your past and the environment that you're in. And so I'm gonna play this one, and I'm sure that all of that will work out in a second, and I'll bring them back on. But this next clip is essentially about the people around you and your environment. All right, here we go.
But we all know people who try to reduce us to our lowest moment. We all know people who won't let you forget who you used to be. We all know somebody who can't wait to say to you, remember when you. They want to reduce him to his lowest moment. But the same thing happens on the other end when people try to reduce you to your greatest moment.
Mm-hmm.
And they celebrate you, but you better not fall. Are you with me? So Jesus sees him here. His reputation is that of someone who has been ill for 38 years. And all of the people in his environment are blind, lame, and paralyzed. See, sometimes one of the reasons the amazing high energy, high vibration feel that you create when you come to church dissipates when you go home is because you have been changed in the moment, but your environment is the same.
So it is amazing how true this is all the time, right? Like, you have some amazing experiences,
for
like,
all of us.
for
Mm,
all of us, for
mm,
all of us. And I think that there's so many things that people trying to reduce you to your lowest moment. I think that when someone has a story about you and they have told it back to you vividly, right? Like, because you try to change, that's typically when that story might come up, is that you try to make a change and then somebody reminds you of the you that was still in the growth process.
Mm-hmm.
And that it can begin to take away some of your energy around it, to reduce your enthusiasm around it, around your transformation. Hence my favorite story. When you went into my favorite scripture, the man by the pool of Bethesda. But I think that this, what I'm hearing, tell me how you do this, Rev. When someone is trying to reduce you to your greatest moment, to your lowest moment, through their storytelling. I remember back when you used to run them streets. I remember back when, right? What is the tool you use? And maybe it's not as hard with that now, but what is the tool you use to break that hold in your mind, or not let it take root?
Right. So we say the primary cause of suffering is forgetfulness. And so conversely, the primary cause for joy, increase, happiness, expansion is remembering.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So one of the things that I do consciously and intentionally in the moment, or that I work to do consciously and intentionally in the moment, is to remind myself that that version of them, or that version of me, is the one that best supports them. Right? That version of me is the one that they're most comfortable with. Right? If the a limited expressing version of me helps you feel good about yourself, then it makes sense that you would use that version of me rather than the version that's doing better, rather than the version that's healed, rather than the version that's working on being able to get up, pick up my bed and walk. Right? Because that version, the ill version of me, you might be able to look down on that version. Right? You've got something on that version. And what you don't realize is that cutting me down to that version does not make you taller. Right? So I try to remind myself in the moment, this is how they're most comfortable seeing me. This is the version of me that's most useful for them, maybe only in this moment.
Right.
Right? Because you never know what it is about you that a person is projecting onto you. Right? Because it's the way you're seeing me is not about me, it's about you. Right? You're only seeing me through the lens of your awareness. You're not seeing me as I am. Because if you were, go ahead, Rep.
No, I'll say, but I think that works if you are, like, if you believe that you're something greater, right? Like the idea that, you think about the crabs in the barrel, so that we're all in this barrel. I'm trying to go out and then I get pulled back in. And so this constant attempt to move past your current situation and circumstances, but your circumstances, like, there's a revolt, right? Like, wait a minute, you're just like us. Come on back and be just like us. And you get more stories, because this doesn't have to be somebody else talking to you. It could just be the own story that's playing in your mind, your highlight reel and low light reel, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that what I try to remember too is that to almost expect it, right? That when I decide to change and to shift and to grow, that where I'm moving from, there may be some conversation about it, right? Some remembrance of days of old, and through somebody else or through just in my own mind.
Yes. So whether it's my own conversation or some external conversation, what's important to remember is that I am only responsible for what's happening in my soul consciousness. Right? I'm not responsible for the projections that you put on me based upon what you assume you're seeing. Right? And so I can only own and be responsible for that which I am supposed to own and be responsible for. So I'm not responsible for the way you see or the way you see me.
Right.
I'm only
Right.
responsible for working to show up in the way that's most consistent with how I see myself. Right. And so what Jesus is trying to get him to see is that there's another version of you. Right. There's a version of you that is not limited by the situation, condition, or circumstances that you've been in for 38 years. He's trying to get him to make a self-account, or to do a self-accounting or self-analysis. Right? He's not trying to tell him he's right or wrong. He's just trying to get him to see himself differently.
But I think that, like, this is why the story is so dope, because Jesus seeing a greater version of this man than he could see for himself for all that time. But Jesus appearing shows a level of readiness to be different, right? There's a level of readiness to be different.
No,
that Jesus, he finally acknowledged.
Jesus seeing him different is a reflection of Jesus realizing that he himself is different.
Right.
Jesus,
yes.
Jesus sees him through his own lens, right? Jesus sees more in him because Jesus knows that there is more in himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Jesus is calling him up higher because Jesus knows that for himself through his own lens. That's one. I am one with the best version of that.
Yes.
And what I'm saying in the lesson is that many people don't come at you that way. Many people come at you from the other angle, right? So many people come at you from remember when, but Jesus is coming at him from remember what, right? Remember what you are, remember what you're capable of, remember what's in you.
Yes. I can't wait till we get to talk about you and other people when we get to that part of the wheel. We can talk about you in that environment that you're in, because I think that sometimes it's like so we were talking about some business growth right before we went live. We're talking about business growth, and when you begin to open yourself up to something grander, bigger, the people that you attract start to reflect that new grander version. Like, I didn't even know that existed. And you start learning these different things because you've raised yourself up. And I think that there's this part about personal growth being so important is that it positions you to see and hear things differently and to attract different people around you. So you won't always have to fight the people, the naysayers. You won't always have to fight that. It just may be that way in your beginning. It just may be that way as you're starting that growth process. And I find that to be encouraging, because it's like, people talk about haters, but I don't have a whole lot of haters. Like I'm not vibrating around that kind of energy now, right?
Now.
I mean, I'm gonna get some new ones because I'm getting ready to move to another level. Right?
Absolutely. Right.
All good. I'm ready for it.
And so, and I don't know if I said this in the lesson or not, but that's why everything in your environment is either supporting you, expanding your energy and inspiring you, or it's draining you, creating self-sabotage and expiring you. It's important to as you grow to also make sure that your environment is consistent with the new growth, right? I know I've told the story before on a Sunday, but I went to my old neighborhood one day when I was working in the marketplace, and had a later than usual day at work. So I decided to stop. Like, I decided to just stop in the old neighborhood, and there was this I guess it was a tavern, but it was almost like a social club / tavern / hangout that my old homies were in. And I didn't know about this place, but I go to the neighborhood, ask somebody where everybody is, and they say, oh, everybody's over at this place. Cool, where's that at? Oh, it's just half a block up. So I go to the place, walk in, I'm happy to see everybody. Everybody's happy to see me. And then this young man named Theron. Theron's probably 10 to 12 years my junior, right? And Theron says to me, what are you doing here? I said, I just came through to kick it, see everybody. It's been a minute. He's like, all right, don't stay too long, right? Because Theron recognizes what I'm not present to in the moment. You no longer fit the environment, right? So it's okay to stop through, but don't park.
Yeah.
Because you don't fit the environment. And the fact that you don't fit the environment may be making some people uncomfortable. It may not, right? But he was just present to you, like you don't fit. So whatever we're doing, you don't fit that, right? So it is with our more comfortable and consistent environments as we continue to grow and expand our awareness. The environment has to evolve as well. So what Jesus is calling him up to requires him to get up and get out of the environment that he's been in for all this time, because we see what's present in this environment. No judgment. It's just that the environment no longer fits you and you no longer fit the environment. And if you don't leave, there's a really good chance that the breakthrough that you just experienced will be short-lived. So don't leave any of your stuff. You don't even need a reason to come back, right? So get up, pick up your bed, and walk away from here, because this environment can no longer support you. It cannot help expand your energy. It cannot inspire you. It can only drain you. It can only help create self-sabotage, and it can only expire you.
Yes. There's a powerful question that comes in this scripture, and I'm gonna give that to you, then play the clip. But it's essentially, do you want to be made well? That's what Jesus asked a man who is sitting by a healing pool for 38 years, right? That he clearly is wanting to be well, to be made well. Like it looks like that. Why would you be out there at that moment for so long? And so powerful question. I know people who, that question hits me so hard. It's like, wait a minute, do you want to be made well? Of course I do. And it's like, well, I think it was Reverend Howard Thurman who at one of the POTs taught a lesson about this. And his thing was that, as a physician, that do you want to be made well? And he's talking to people who are suffering with diabetes but won't change their eating patterns. And so that question comes, do you want to be made well? Yeah, but you won't give up the cookies and the pies in order for that. And I never forgot that. And I think that might have been when this one became my favorite story. But we're going to talk about just putting yourself in the man's shoes, right? Like, where are you in consciousness in that space where you're sitting waiting for something to happen before you have a changed experience? And so this clip, and then we'll chat.
Or do you want to be the guy who is made well? Who do you want to be? Because if you don't decide, others will decide for you. Do I want to be the type of person who's committed to growing into my capacity? And what we see from the man who's been by the pool for this 38 years is that one of the most difficult obstacles to our own personal growth is overcoming our own inertia. He can't get out of his own way enough to get on the way that's being presented to him. But Jesus is presenting him with an opportunity to become somebody else. He's presenting him with an opportunity to take on a new identity, an identity not that Jesus is going to give him, an identity that he is going to create based upon the actions he takes. Mm-hmm. To be clear, Jesus didn't pick up the mat for him.
Nope.
So many nuggets here. Okay, so let me say first, overcoming your own inertia. Just that's everything right there. Overcoming your own inertia, that space where you're not in motion, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get back into motion? How do you get back? You got to overcome that. And I think that's a huge barrier, is we're waiting on something to come bump us into action. And that's, I think, when we create drama in our life, right? So that I'll create some dramatic experience that's going to cause me to finally change. And I think that that's when we think about health conditions, right? That I'm just going to let this get bad enough where I got to do something about it. Overcome our own inertia. That's the whole word.
Yeah. So Reverend Evelyn Boyd used to call the condition you're speaking of like a quantum leap in consciousness. Mm-hmm. Right. So I'll just do nothing and then wait for the miracle to ride in. Or I can string together a bunch of needlepoint moves, small moves, right? Like the dial on your clock. It's well, unless you're rocking, if you got the expensive automatics like you folks, that hand sweeps. But if you got a nice quartz watch, it's just making small moves. Mm-hmm. But each and every one of those moves pushes the time forward, right? And so if I can mimic my Timex and just make small needlepoint moves, if I just do 5 small things each day that moves me closer to my target, if I can just refrain from doing 5 things that have me in a space where the results I'm getting are inconsistent with the results I want, and I do that each day, I can put myself in the flow of the momentum that as it starts to build, I can create a tidal wave of transformation, mm-hmm. rather than waiting for God to work a miracle through me when God has already given me the power to make small miracles out of my needlepoint moves.
Yes.
Right. And so, again, what Jesus is just trying to get him to do is recognize that if he's not willing to become a new person, then he'll remain where he is. If he's not willing to make some small changes, he'll remain where he is. And I'm not certain that the man was certain that at that point he wanted to be made well, even though he was in the environment where some people were being made well, but many more were not. Mm-hmm. Right? There's mm-hmm. something to be said for becoming conditioned to our breakdown.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think Jennifer Lewis is the actress, and I won't use the illustration that she used because it's really graphic and hardcore. But she said if you sit in garbage long enough, you stop noticing the smell. Right? And so what Jesus is trying to help him do is pay attention to the fact that what he's been doing has not been working.
Yeah.
And there is a version of him that refuses, the man. There's a version of him that refuses to limit himself to the results he's been getting. Mm-hmm. So what can he do? Mm-hmm. It's not like he's powerless. the power and the potential is within him. He is not powerless. It seems like the situation is perilous, and it seems like he is powerless, and it seems like there is nothing that he can do, hence his excuses when Jesus asks him if he wants to be made well. But what Jesus is really trying to get him to do is take personal responsibility. That's a key lever in personal growth, taking personal responsibility.
Okay, I'm gonna play this next clip because I think I got a clip about personal responsibility, but we'll see. It'll be a surprise to us all. Okay, let's, not like I didn't produce this, but who knows? All right, here we go.
You want to hear it. The principle that's at work here, Michael, is that when you outgrow your current place, you'll begin to draw to yourself something larger. So the very proposal of the question is an indication that he's outgrown the place and the identity he's comfortable with in that place. He's already outgrown it because the new opportunity showed up.
Ooh. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. That's so good.
You can't attract the better
that's so good.
until you expand your capacity and become the larger. So the only barrier to my expansion is my capacity, and the only catalyst for my capacity is my consciousness.
Okay, I'm going to repeat that.
Yeah, because I don't know which part you're gonna repeat, but there was one part in there that was really, really, really very, 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 very good.
No, you said that the very proposal of the question is an indication that he's outgrown the place and the identity, right? That's the question.
Everything around him belies that possibility. But that's so good. That's so good. That's so good, Reed. I am not even just patting myself on the back. That's so good. Man, that is good. That's a word for a true student right there. Rob, that's a word right there, bro. That's a word for a true student right there. I cannot front. That's a word for a true student right there. My God, that's good. So the mere fact that the idea shows up is an indication that I'm ready for my next level, Reed.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
That's so
and that, so I think that when we're in the midst of the rut, right? Whatever the pool is that we're sitting by, right? That when I call it looking up, there's a moment when you look up from it and something better catches your attention. Some thought comes, it's like, so that means you're ready to get out of this.
Right.
And
you stop looking at the obstacle, you start looking at the possibility.
Right. And if we would say, if you understand how powerful that is, that it's really saying you're ready now, as opposed to now waiting for some other validation to come, right? So if the economy changes, if there's another person in the office, then I can do that thing that I just saw. But we don't need, you don't need somebody to co-sign on the power and presence of God that's in you, directing you to your highest good. You don't need it. You don't need nobody to co-sign.
Yeah. No, the mere fact that it presented itself to you is the indication that you're ready for it.
That you're ready for it.
Yeah, yes, Tiffy. It's the indication that you're ready for it.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And so this quote, the only barrier to my expansion is my capacity. Number one. And the only catalyst, right? The only thing that's going to project me to it is my consciousness.
That's right.
So it's easy to ignore growth opportunities. It's so easy. It's easy to pursue them as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's easy to pursue.
Yes.
It's because both are choices and they're both your capacity to do. right?
Or
So
1,000%.
I like. I used to
No, I
want to
said
make those
1,000%.
quantum leap changes. Yeah, I used to
Mm.
I used to want to make those quantum leap changes, and it might have been Reverend Evelyn Boyd that disabused me of that idea of that being the only way to grow. Is that I'm just gonna something magical. It's gonna be like an overnight success and day and night and all of these things, and it's a child one, it's a kind of a childish fantasy, right? That you believe that things happen that way. And when you see it in practice, when you see someone who appears to have had a burst of an amazing experience working in entertainment, I saw many people, they'll sell a project and it'll be like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, I am,
Yes.
and what happened is that they had a product at the right time, but when they asked for that second project, write that second script, it falls apart because their practice had not caught up to that experience that they had, right? That idea was a great idea, but I got more, to have a career
Yes,
at something that has to be more than a one shot, like more than one success, right?
for sure. For sure. And
I
oftentimes
am the
what looks like an overnight success is a lifelong work, right? Like we only see the new artist show up at the Grammys. But
right.
that new artist has been making needlepoint moves for virtually their entire life
Yeah.
to get them to the place where they're now an overnight success.
Yeah, and that just may be the way that you have to think about your own success too, is that these little bit of these little increments of effort, right? Those little ticks forward will show themselves in your experience as the results that you've been seeking, as the good, what you've been expecting more of. But dare to make them.
Yeah.
I don't. I am a. I'm an athlete now. I work out every day. And I'm in my main event is going to be living on this planet, feeling good in my body the whole
I
time
heard
through.
that.
Right?
Yeah, come on.
That's
Yes.
that's what I'm competing for.
Love
Right?
it.
That's what I'm getting
Love it.
gold in.
That's the gold
That's the gold.
on the podium.
And so
Love it.
to do that, I decided I was going to start lifting weights, right? And I'm lifting and I'm just showing, I'm not just showing up, I'm doing what I know to do, right? Because I also don't think that the old ideas I had about, no pain, no gain, and like weightlifters have to be lifting all of this weight. It's like, okay, I want to love myself through this. And what I did one day is I touched my arm and I was like, is that a gun? Like,
What's that? What's that?
those little
What? What? I got tickets to the gun show.
Those little bits of effort have been producing results.
What? I get it.
You got to touch them because there's still some chubby on top of them, but they're in there. They're in there.
Listen, but the muscle is being developed.
Yes.
Right? With each day you show up. Right? So that and so I think that's a powerful reminder for each of us that it's important for us to show up for life. Right? To show up for what we say we want, to show up for the opportunity to be able to get up, pick up our issue, whatever that issue seems to be that we've been sitting on for however long, and to be able to carry it so that it's no longer carrying us.
Yes. I'm gonna play this last clip, and I think this is this one. We talk about your personal growth. I feel like this. Lord, there's one I didn't include that was dope too. Go watch the sermon because it's a bunch of nuggets we just didn't pick up in this one. But the idea here about the mind that you must have this mind. That's what I heard when you were saying that, have this mind. But I'm gonna play this clip and we're gonna talk about it before we wrap out.
If you want to stand in your greatness, stop asking for permission. There is a direct correlation between how clearly you can see what you've been desiring for so long, and how you grow and stretch toward it, and how rapidly that thing shows up in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question is simple, but the law of mind action says that the sick man has to take on the mind of a healthy man. The ill man has to take on the mindset of a whole man. He's got to be able to see himself beyond the conditions he's going through. He's got to know that there is another possibility for him other than this that he's gotten used to.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's a direct correlation between how clearly you can see what you've been desiring for so long and how you grow and stretch toward it and how rapidly that thing shows up.
Mm-hmm.
The clearly part, like that struck me, right? Because I think that clarity is why many of us don't experience the desires of our heart, is that they're vague notions in our soul.
Mm-hmm.
And we just haven't gotten clear about it. But have this mind, and you said that that in order for him to be healthy, right? The sick man has to take on the mind
Mm-hmm.
of a healthy man.
That's right. That's right.
And I think that you have to equate that to your scenario in life, right? That whatever it is, for those who are seeking employment and they want really amazing work to do to share their talents and gifts, that you have to take on the mind, not of the job seeker, but of the one in that
That's
role.
Right. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I would say one leap, if you've been in the job game for a long time, somebody needs to hear this. I don't know where it's coming from, but if you've been in the job game for a long time, you may need to go volunteer doing the thing that you are expert at, or that you are wanting to develop greater expertise at, to remind yourself of your expertise so that you can become magnetic to that opportunity. You're sitting there saying, this is who I am, but you're not being who you are. And you can create an avenue of expression for that through volunteerism, through sharing your gifts and talents with the organizations that matter to you, and watch doors open for you from
Amen.
that.
Amen. Yeah. No, that's good. Madam C.J. Walker was being interviewed, and one of the things she said during the interview is, it's pretty hard for the Lord to guide you if you haven't made up your mind about where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So not even God can help you if you haven't done the work of getting clear about what you want. And the thing about clarity, and you hit this, is in order to get clear, you have to rehearse seeing it. Right. So the way he takes on the mindset of a healthy man is to replay over and over and over and over in his mind what that looks like and what that feels like and how it moves in the world and what it means to his life, right? Rather than studying the pile of bills,
Right.
I should be studying what financial freedom looks like. Like, what does it look like to be able to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it, without regard to what I'm going to have to do when I get back from vacation?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that puts me in the mindset of becoming clearer and clearer about what financial freedom looks like and how financial freedom moves and what sort of opportunities it gives you and what it frees you up to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
clarity comes from rehearsing the vision as if it were already so. Right? Not rehearsing the excuses for why it cannot be so.
Yep. Yeah. That's it. I mean, shameless plug. I'm teaching a class about clarity and vision. This vision boarding class, the framework that I work with is not just putting pictures on a page. It is developing the clarity of your vision, and that your vision reflects what I call the anatomy of your desire, the spirit, soul, body of it, right? And so it's a powerful way to think about your desires. There's a definition of vision boarding that came to me as I was preparing for the course, that your vision board is your tangible prayer. It's the prayer, like you can see the prayer you've been praying, so that you're collapsing the distance between it, so that you don't feel like your good is so far off. It is right here in front of me.
Yes.
And so opportunities like this, we're here for the Rewind weekly, maybe more than once a week sometime, if there's a reason for us to be here. Lots of content is being created, so we may be rewinding at different intervals, but just know that like experiences like this are meant to help you develop a sense of self, that you know you're more than what you appear, and that there is more for you to express. There's a good for you to express. And we want to be motivators. We want to help incite you to take those right actions, to know more about who you are and take those right actions. So this series is just kicking off, Running to Your Destiny. Rev will be back next week. Because you're giving a lesson sermon this coming week. And so we're going to unpack that one as well. And then, oh, wait a minute, because I said shameless plug, because it's not a shame. There's no shame. So I've been rocking this the vision board. I did a couple of free webinars. Now we're in the course. We just had the intro class on Saturday, so we're getting ready to cook with grease this coming Saturday. So it's not too late to join in. Just go to ShereeSpeaks.com. You can register for the course. I'm so excited, right? So we're all doing brand new things. This year, you're going to see, listen, we're not just telling you to go be great and stand in your greatness. You're going to see Rev stand in his greatness in a whole brand new way this year. Reverend Galen standing in his greatness in a whole new way this year. You'll see Gavin standing in his greatness in a whole new way this year. And so we're going to do this thing together. Like, there's no reason we can't all stand in our greatness and bring those good things we want and we desire into expression. Rev, tell me a little bit about it. I don't know if it's too premature, but there's like 2 big hot projects coming from you in the very near future.
It's just a little premature, but I promise, when it's closer to the finish line, this is going to be one of the first groups that gets it hot off the press. So I want to make sure that Dot and Barbara and Tiffany and Rob and Judith and all of my folks here know. I want to make sure Brenda knows. I'm gonna make sure you hear it first, Pam. I got you, Judith. It's good. I got you, Leslie. I'm gonna make sure you get it. I'm gonna make sure you get it.
Yeah, we're listen, I will spill the beans, but I'm not gonna spill the beans. Just know that it's good. You want to keep tuned in. And so this is what I need you to do, Rev. We want to break it here on the Rewind. All right. So I'm gonna need you to hold this into yourself. I know you like to break it in the Sunday sermon, but I want you to break the news here on the Rewind, because this group, what we're building here, is so special. And I'm excited about our growth, about the reach expanding. We need your support in that as part of the inaugural community, those who are clicking in, listening, and you're part of the inaugural community, right? So this is your Rewind, and we want you to share it so that as we grow together, your handprint, your fingerprint is on it. So like, subscribe, and share. Those are really 3 easy things you can do to help us expand this message, and also to give you and your friends something to talk about, right? Like, think about the things that you consume. This will give you some good stuff to put into your conversation. So I want to thank you for being here today. Those who are joining us live, I want to thank you for those who clicked in, listening from however you're listening to us, and know that you can join the community. You can contribute to the conversation. If you're in there live, you can ask questions. If you are in our Facebook group, the collective, you can post your questions there. But just make sure you stay connected. And we're creating new channels to stay connected with you, because I know that people have different ways that they connect online. And so we're going to be where you are, right? We're going to be where you are. So feel free to let us know, like, hey, you should join this, or we will be there. Okay. Any closing words, Rev?
Yes, this is a wonderful community. I absolutely love each and every one of you. I want to ask Judith what time it is in the UK. What time is it in the UK, Judith?
Judith is, what did she, oh, she said here in the UK. It's got to be like 10. It's got to be 10. It is not their working hours. It's not their working hours. There is listen, I love that you're tapping in, Judith. That helps me remember that we are worldwide.
12:16 a.m.
a.m. Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Committed to your growth.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you for
I do. So whether you showed up at 5 p.m. Central, I think we got a couple people from the West Coast in, or if it's 12 p.m. where you are, or 12, right. And now 12 in the morning,
12 a.m. right?
Yeah, just after midnight. I'm blessing you wherever you are. We know that wherever you are, the presence and power of God is, and your growth potential is just waiting for you to unleash it on the world. And I'm excited to play a small part in helping you do just that, so that you can reveal all that God intends to reveal through you.
Yes. God bless you all real good. We'll be back next week. Rev will be in the hot seat, and we're gonna
still cool as a fan.
But still cool as a fan. The seat is hot, but he's cool as a fan. We're gonna unpack the second lesson out of the Unlimited series, and I'm excited about where this is taking us. So go ahead, and if you watched it already, go rewatch it. Now that you've had some more to work with, it'll open, your ears will be so much more open when you listen to it again. And again, remember to share. We want to continue to grow together. God bless you real good. Have a beautiful, joy-filled and love-filled day.
Peace and blessings.